Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am El-Rufai. I will continue a look at the scenario, the political scenario we find ourselves confronted with in the country, talking about Nasir El-Rufai and his troubles with investigating authorities. Not just Nasir El-Rufai, also Nuhu Ribadu, the national security advisor. Now, it's really almost gotten out of hands, if that is possible, by which I mean that on the one hand, it would seem that most people probably are mostly aware of just the tail end of it. That was when El-Rufai went on Arise Television, a sister television station, and you know, how sensational they got with some of the claims that El-Rufai in an interview had made, that he was party to tapping into the phone lines of the National Security Advisor. So that, on the one hand, you know, is a very serious matter. But he said it himself. Nobody was accusing him of this. Why would he say a thing like that? He's an experienced technocrat. He's been a two-time governor of his native Kaduna state. And so a lot of people are looking for something of a conspiracy theory into what's going on. Of course, you know that there's also the poison theory, where he wrote a letter to the NSA, you know, accusing, well, stating that he poison had been imported and that he wanted, you know, an explanation as to whether everything was done on the level. Now, what do you think is going on in there? El-Rufai recently went on a DCL house, a digital platform, and had said things a bit on the emotional level about he regrets that they were one time even friends. So with that kind of a backdrop, it shows that the air is very, very thick among these former friends, if we can call them that. But what exactly, Honorable Ahmed Sajo, do you make of this spectacle that we have confronting us?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the first thing is that let's look at it this way. What Malam Nasir El-Rufai, and let me put it very clear that both Malam Nasir El-Rufai and Malam Nuhu Ribadu are respectable members of the Nigerian society, and it's unfortunate they've been very close friends, and I'm not ruling out that they will continue to be friends, because I have been an observer in the political scene for too long that quite a number of times you think friends have fallen apart in the political space, and tomorrow you see them together again, even to the extent of marrying off their children and all that. I have a personal experience with one of my former bosses on issues like this. So I'm not ruling out the fact that they may eventually make up in the future. But let us look at the issues very dispassionately.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm coming, sir. First and foremost, El-Rufai said the hacking on the telephone of the NSA was done because the government hacks people's telephones. I think that is, there is no amount of justification for an illegality. Hacking another person's phone, not even the NSA, anybody's phone, is an illegality. And for somebody to be so brazen as to announce an illegality on national television, I think that was some bit of override of indiscretion. And if you back your illegality by the fact that somebody else has done it, it's like saying, you know, an eye for an eye is permitted in society. And an eye for an eye, as you all know, will turn the entire society blind. So I think there's no justification. And then
some would even, sorry sir, some would even say it's disingenuous. It's disingenuous to offer such a reason.
It's more than disingenuous. It's more than disingenuous. I think and it also creates panic in society. When you say that phones are hacked and to get information, then all of us that are using telephones, how safe are we? And is it actually necessary for somebody who had held such a high position to make such kind of an announcement and raise the tension within the public space? So that's one. And the second thing is that some of us grew up from societies that are, you may call conservative, but truly we have moral compass. We're guided by certain morals. If you look at it very closely, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, said he would not comment out of respect for their past relationship. We've been brought up to believe that once you have had a very good relationship with somebody, there are restraints. You know, there's some level of forbearance, even within the political systems all over the world. You know, politics, it's not an all thing. It has guardrails, and one of the guardrails of the political democracy is forbearance. We have to remember that if we have had some good relationship in the past, let that be a compass with which we use to determine our future relationship. I think I commend Malam Nuhu Ribadu for saying, based on their past very good understanding, he has restrained himself from responding to whatever he said about it. But let us remove the two persons. Let's take the thing away from personalities and look at the institutional responsibilities in all of these things. First and foremost, I want us to understand that when you are either in opposition or you don't like the system that is running, you must always be careful to also remember that there are personalities who hold levers of the institutions, but there are the institutions themselves. You do not go about, using the limited knowledge within public space to destroy institutions or institutional practices because you don't like the persons that are holding the levers of those institutions at the present. Nobody holds the levers of an institution forever. Institutions represent systems, and systems represent, modern nation states. I give you an example. Why will anybody, for example, begin to question whatever was imported in the country under the signature of our National Security Advisor? Because the National Security Advisor is institutionally, nationally and internationally, institutionally responsible for the importation of certain lethal products into this country. For example, no arms or ammunition will be imported in this country until an end user certificate is signed. The end user certificate tells you what these things are going to be used for and whether they will comply with international conventions on usage. And the person authorized to sign those end user certificates, that's National Security Advisor. Would you now say that the National Security Advisor is importing arms to kill Nigerian people? He
has even, if you recall, Honorable, if you recall, he has actually, the security NSA has denied importing any such thing. And the only response he made to that charge was that it had been referred to the DSS for further investigation. Whereas the way it had
I'm just saying, sorry, I'm just saying that you don't cherry pick certain activities. Let me tell you, our Nigerian armed forces, are aware that bandits and insurgents are using landmines. But because international convention, stops us from using, as a state, we cannot use landmines. The Nigerian army does not use landmines. But in the importation of arms and ammunition, there are end-user certificates to say, look, this is what we're going to use it for. So a lot of people can use that to say, this is what this guy has imported, this is what... even if we take it for granted that certain things are imported into this country for purposes that are in the interest of securing Nigeria.
Saw it, the whole country, so to speak, was a witness to it. So if that happened, that's why we're saying, what can we analyze into this conflict that the a former governor and now, you know, in the opposition ADC politician, Nuhu, Nasir El-Rufai. What would you take from that? Of course, the matter is going to court. I think the DSS is going to take him to court tomorrow, but it's just so strange, isn't it? You spoke about the poison matter. Go ahead, sir.
I think what we need to understand in all of these things is
did he lose control? Did El-Rufai lose control?
No. I think as a society we are even losing control. We're clapping for the wrong messages, and that's why some of the messengers can go over the board in trying to win our applause. I think that statement, whatever justification, whatever anger would have moved somebody to make that statement, should start condemned and condemnable. You said Nasir El-Rufai is a statesman. Yes, he may be a statesman, but that statement was not statesmanly. Mm-hmm. You see, the oath of office, everybody who has held public office in Nigeria had taken. The oath of office does not end when you leave office. That oath of office hangs over your head because you still leave office with institutional memories of information that is not available to ordinary people. And so you have to be measured. You have to respect the fact that the ordinary people that you had opportunity to lord over required protection from you at all times. El-Rufai, for example, has had opportunities in this country that are not available to other people. He has had opportunities to be a minister. He has had opportunities to be a governor. He even has an opportunity to create a hegemony by extending such opportunities to his biological son. So he is a beneficiary of the system to an extent that he should be one of the first people on the first line charge of those that will protect the system. Even if he is aware that such happens, I think the best thing he could have done was to find a way to ensure that it does not happen, not to go about announcing it and knowing that even when the anchor asked him whether he knew that what he was talking about was an illegality, he admitted that it was an illegality. How could somebody go on national television and admit to an illegality?
That's why I asked you, does this not begin to talk to us a bit about the man who admits an illegality, and it was unforced? It was an unforced, he brought it up.
I think it speaks to the mindset of a lot of Nigerian politicians. What matters is always here and now. Nobody looks at the broader consequence of what they're doing. Nobody looks at what happens, what the future. When you call somebody a statesman, you know what they say in the US, that a businessman thinks of the next dollar, a politician thinks of the next election, but a statesman thinks of the next generation. So whatever we're doing, if we do not consider the consequences of our actions on the next generation, we have not attained the rank of a statesman. Okay. A statesman is somebody who thinks of the next generation. Mm-hmm. And the next generation does not mean tomorrow, does not mean the children will go. Even as at today, we're living in a society where we need to consider the entire society and protect the society. Okay. I am of the opinion, I'm of the strong opinion that that indiscretion was totally wrong. And I am also of the opinion that anybody who had a good relationship with any other person, should always weigh in on that relationship and use it as a reason for restraint in the manner that they behave towards each other and towards society. We have younger people.
So what you are saying is the kind of, I beg your pardon, sir.
Who look up to us.
So what you are saying, all that you are saying is the kind of thing I would have expected any senior public official of the experience level of El-Rufai to be saying to someone else. So that's what we're trying to analyze. What do you think is going on in here? Was there a mental breakdown, an emotional breakdown for him to, in spite of his high calling in public office, to have said what he said? And then you pointed out, and everybody else also heard it, he's quite, you know, I thought it was disingenuous, but you said it's more than that, where he said that government is doing it too. So we need to, you know, if they need to know that they're not the only people who have the capability. It doesn't make sense. Maybe if you were a 17-year-old, maybe if you were a 17-year-old, we'll say that he's inexperienced with life. But for a man of such caliber to have said what he said is why conspiracy theories are actually now rising up in social media, where people are saying, this is a whole big game that they're playing. Do you think it is a game, or that a mistake was made? An angry person is not usually the most considered of emotional people, and he just made a mistake. He blew his top, and now it's out there in the public, and he can't take it back.
I don't want to believe it was anger. Anger for what? Look, we have to start asking ourselves questions.
Well, if you don't want to believe it's anger, sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. You know, if you put together also the other statement that's out there on DCL Hausa, a digital, you know, platform, a digital platform on social media, he is alleged to have said that Nuhu Ribadu is one of the most wicked people in the administration, so of you know, the current administration. And you won't begin to look at these kind of statements. We've agreed that statesman-like behavior and utterances is one thing, but to say somebody is the most wicked of people and that he's influencing, he even went as far as saying that on that DCL Hausa, that the National Security Advisor was in the habit of getting in touch with judges and influencing them to work against whatever he considers his interests. Now, if that's not anger, this is not...
That's not... That,
go
honestly,
ahead, sir.
That's not anger. Honestly, that's not anger. That is... that's just, you know, a level of indiscretion that is getting out of hand. But it's not out of anger. It's out of a desire. You know, it's this grandstanding, populist mentality. He thinks that whatever message he sends out, people will applaud, people will clap, people will say he has done the right thing, that he is now the new hero on the block, and all that and all that. But it doesn't make sense. You see, if you continue, like I said, if you justify one illegality by mentioning another illegality, it's like living a life of an eye for an eye. And I tell you that when you live a life of an eye for an eye, society will definitely become blind.
You can't even do it with the state. One can understand two persons perhaps.
And the state, for me, like I said, is the destruction of institutional fabric of the country that I'm worried about. Individuals can go and do their bric-a-brac, it's their own problem. Like I told you, I've lived long enough to witness politicians saying, God forbid, they will never come together again, they hate each other, they are wicked, they are bad, and then tomorrow you see them together, even marrying their daughters and sons together. I'm not bothered about that. What I am bothered about is what it does to the psychic of society. How do our young people now see criminality? If an elder who has had all the privileges on earth could sit down in front of a television camera and announce a criminal activity with relish and make it look like it doesn't matter. Okay, younger people who are watching, younger people who are following, what do we expect them to do? To also do the same thing? to believe that criminality pays, to believe that it's good to announce criminality on public.
I also said,
some of the things that we
exactly, and probably in this bag, you're going to put his DCL Hausa utterances. You know, again, is probably in the same bag of trying to disparage, you know, disparaging high government officials.
Everything he is doing, let me tell you, everything he's doing. I have read some people are calling him the new Sardona of, which is not actually true. You know, so when you're being applauded unnecessarily for doing things that are not right, you know, the people that are applauding you are actually destroying you. Because that's a path of self-destruction.
I hadn't actually heard of the Sardona of the North Toga, but certainly the Sardona of respected memory, are there records of him behaving like that?
He does not. Ahmadu Bello was ruled by morals. He had moral standards. There was a moral compass that determined what he does. Are we on the same trajectory today? So we have to start asking ourselves. I think it's the fact that two friends are now no longer friends. It's enough for the two friends not to be friends, but to carry the burden of whatever is the problem between the two of them onto society, and for somebody to use that as an opportunity to send barrages of statements that actually they destroy the fabrics of our institutional framework as a country, and to send the wrong signals to younger people who need mentorship from elders who have had opportunities to hold this thing, and to forget that the oath of office that we took when we were in government is an oath of office that will live with us for life.
So
because the information,
are you saying, sir, that you believe Nasir or El-Rufai's statements are capable of influencing the youth? Because you're speaking about morals. I believe anybody knows that what they witnessed and have heard through mass media, things are not done that way. Not unless you are a 4 or 5 year old. Everybody knows that elders do not behave that way, and that's why I see that you are resisting it. But people are saying, is there a hidden agenda in all of this? Some people are saying that if you look at it, it looks straightforward, but no, it's very much more complicated. I don't know if you see it like that. It's much more complicated. They are playing a special mind games, especially El-Rufai is playing a certain kind of mind games, and that he wants to draw people out. I've heard all of these theories. But let me come back to you to get your thoughts on that particular angle. But Mazi Okoroafo has called in. Good morning, Mazi. Mazi, good morning. Mazi Okoroafo. No? Okay.
Okay.
Because
now let me tell you.
Okay, Mazi Okoroafo has come on.
Abuja started.
Okay.
El-Rufai did very well. Yeah, they were all palace. But the question now is the issue of politics. I've now brought a situation of shifting the goalpost. In as much as we're in a country like ours, Nigeria is a very big country that everybody should try as much as possible and accommodate one another. Irrespective of at least respect one of it, whether you are there or not there. Things are out there now. There's no need of coming to do because of politics and things. Because I start asking myself, is it because of power? Is it because of money? Some of them are not supposed to quarrel because some of them are supposed to work that is symbiotically as a Nigerian, symbiotically as a politician, symbiotically as the same human beings in the country. Because if you look at the program of Ribadu when he was 16 months, if you look at the program of El-Rufai when he was Abuja minister, El-Rufai did very well. At least we at least we still remember that time when the Ghana people, at least 11 of us, they gave us award. That ambassador was in the office that time when they did this Abuja attack. And when I remember those things, what happened, that how good El-Rufai was in the. But I started wondering, what must have transpired for him to be able to talk? I only advised him, just respect the office of Ribadu, in as much as he's there. In himself as El-Rufai, at least you have worked when you were there and when you were governor. You're supposed to work what you call statesmanship, that is, sit down, advise others, sit down and give people positive answers, and give people, that is, empower and mentor young ones. Mentor is very, very important. Let us not wash our linen clothes outside.
Okay.
Good morning, Pastor Crawford. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mazi Okorafor. So, Honorable Ahmed Sajo, you were just about to, look at my proposition. So you don't believe that there's any kind of conspiracy theory to any of this, because otherwise it's rubbish. But people are saying, don't be too quick to, sweep it all away as rubbish. There are some hidden motives, secret agendas going on here. You don't put much stock on all of that.
Look, there's only one hidden agenda, and that hidden agenda is politics. Like I started, and I'm saying it again, that our politics is devoid of restraint, and that is not very good for us. El-Rufai probably is struggling to become a hero in the opposition movement, and so he's
trying to build a reputation for outspokenness, something like that. That he's a fearless, fiery speaker. Exactly. And so he decided to choose what I call suicidal courage. For you to announce in the public glare that you are privy to the committal of an offense, a criminal offense, that is suicidal courage. And then disdainfully say that government is doing it anyway.
And it even made it worse, because you are actually creating panic within the public, and then increasing the level of trust deficit that exists between the public and the government, and to what gain? Because well, if you are in real politics for the sake of the country, for the sake of the people, what you do is to try to increase confidence in the public as to your capacity to do better than what these people are doing. Not to say government does this and that. He was in government. Did he do it? Was it the way he ran his own system? And then you begin to tell people that an individual in government is wicked, is bad. Fine. Yes. Were you happy when people wrongfully had called you those names when you were in government? Were you happy? And the basis of our existence as a people, the basis of our faith, whatever religion we follow, the basis is that don't do unto others what you don't want done to you. I do remember several times when he was governor, when supposedly they lied against him on certain actions and activities. He issued statements. His people begin to defend those positions. He tries to maneuver himself out of such false narratives about him. Why would he come out now and now start spewing false narrative against other people? Is it the right thing to do?
That's why we're seeking to see if it is possible to analyze what's the spectacle that he has contributed to placing before all Nigerians. Before you continue, sir, another viewer has called in. I beg your pardon, sir. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Okay. Carry on, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Trying to analyze the conflict between El-Rufai and Ribadu.
Yes.
Mr. George.
We should not look at this matter from the prism of friendship. Whether there was friendship between the two, between Ribadu and El-Rufai in the past, is not the matter that is at stake now. What is at stake is a crime against the state. Nuhu Ribadu is Nigeria's national security advisor. And the offense that El-Rufai has committed is a national offense against the country. So if they were friends before, or they were not friends before, it's not the issue here. I want to plead with Mr. President that he should not intervene on this matter on anybody's behalf. He should allow the law to take its course because of several reasons. So many people would want to capitalize on this and commit similar offenses against the state in the future if they see that the president is intervening. The implications of what has happened, if you look at it deeply on query, is very severe for this country. For a citizen of this country to bug the president, because when you bug the phone of the National Security Advisor, you are bugging the phones of all the security chiefs. All the information he gets from the service chiefs, you are tapping it, and you are using it against the country. It's a very severe offense. The law should be allowed to take its course, and no sentiments should be brought into this matter. That's my view.
Yes, but before you go, since we're trying to analyze this conflict, what do you think is behind all of this? El-Rufai is not a teenager. He's a highly accomplished person. So there are conspiracy theories that are floating around on social media as to how to properly analyze this thing. Do you have any ideas as to what's going on? Apart from him being a member of an opposition that has said that its sole purpose is to remove the president from office. One imagines they mean democratically, but that's their sole purpose, nothing else. Do you have any ideas on what this could be about, if you were to give a very brief analysis?
What I can deduce on query is El-Rufai is unfortunately arrogant, and he didn't know that he was crossing the red line. The bitterness of he not being confirmed as a minister is there. That's what he carried to the opposition party and met like minds who want to destroy this country. That is the basic element of the issue.
Okay.
So no matter what interpretation anybody wants to give to it, that's what they want to achieve. They want to not only remove the president, because they know that will be very difficult for them. They want to destabilize the country if they cannot remove the president. And one way of destabilizing the country is through this information network breakthrough. But
when you say they is plural. We're dealing with the singular El-Rufai. El-Rufai, the singular El-Rufai now.
We are also listening to them. So the DSS should find out from El-Rufai who are the we, and question all of them.
Of course. I think we can take it for granted. That's going to be that's one of the things that the security people are going to. He said it himself. He said he has people who were bugging the phones and had shared information with him. The DSS is going to be very highly interested in knowing those people.
People, also accost them and get to the root of the matter. It's a very serious matter.
All right.
It's more serious than the way many of us are looking at it.
Thank you, Mr. George, for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back to you, Honorable Ahmed.
I think there are three issues that have just come up, and those are the issues that I was actually talking to.
Okay.
First and foremost is that we're setting a dangerous precedent. We're teaching our younger people, we're teaching our citizens the wrong things, telling them that one could commit an offense and announce the offense publicly in the market space and feel unremorseful about it, which is very, very wrong. Like he said, when you cross the red line, you should be prepared to bear the consequences. And
he wasn't aware. It was his theory. The theory of that caller was that he wasn't even aware he had crossed the red line. That goes back to my point of possible anger.
He's quite aware. He was asked. Sorry, sir. He was asked. And he said, yes, he knew he was crossing the red line. But his justification is that the government also does the same thing.
But an angry person will see anything.
He was crossing the red line.
Because I'm still...
Secondly, I want us to believe, to understand strategic importance to the nation, and that office should be respected. The occupant of the office, for whatever reason, should be respected at the point he's occupying that office, because that office represents an institutional arrangement in our nation state. We're not looking at, it's beyond individuals.
The National Security Advisor has refrained. I beg your pardon, sir. The National Security Advisor, to the best of my knowledge, has refrained from joining issues. Apart from on the poison issue, what is the rat poison and insecticide that is said to be very, very toxic.
Which was actually not true anyway.
And exactly. He said it wasn't true. He has not joined issues. People are even reading into that something that, have you noticed that Ribadu is not saying anything? What do you want Ribadu to say? What isn't
exactly. And let me explain something here. Apart from the fact that the office of the National Security Advisor had denied the falsehood related to the importation of gas, the other response was to say Ribadu respects the time they had together as good friends. But like I keep insisting, this is not about El-Rufai and Ribadu as individuals. This is about the state. This is about people holding the levers of state. This is about institutions of the state. This is about respect for our laws as a country. This is about, not instituting jungle situation on our country to say if one person does one wrong, another person can respond to it by another wrong.
And as you know, as you were saying, before this time, this poison, this thallium sulfate issue, this poison that a very microscopic quantity is supposed to be colorless, tasteless, and all of that. But there's so many. The National Security Advisor's office has written back to him, according to news reports, that it is not true. They did not import any such thing, but he has handed it over to the DSS for further investigation. But thallium sulfate, there are actual industrial uses for the thing, much as it is not, preferred, nowadays. But I don't know. You see, it goes back to what you were saying, trying to disparage the office, I think, of the National Security Chief. And one doesn't understand why this is necessary, why one begins to wonder as to how can one analyze this? That's why I just went for the simplest, is it a matter of anger?
Let me help you out.
Let me come back to you, because Alex, let me quickly take Alex's contribution, and then I'll come back to you. Good morning, Alex from Calabar.
Good morning. Happy hearing from you.
Yes, thank you.
I'm following the trends of this program keenly.
Yeah.
Just like the last person just mentioned.
Yes. Of
the arrogance of El-Rufai.
Yes.
You see, a situation where you feel that you people are like a cabal, we dictate the pace how this country should move. It's worrisome. And we are building a nation that the younger ones should equally key in to make it better. But the situation when an elderly statesman of this country who have been in the public sector can make some of those statements, it's not a welcome development. So my own opinion is that His Excellency, the President, should keep from this. And any other ethnic group, sentiment shouldn't come in. It should allow the law to take its course.
Yeah.
That is my contribution.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just as Mr. George had said, let the president, although I feel sure the president would not ever have intervened. But back to you, sir, Honorable Ahmed.
Yeah, I said, you know, as elders, sometimes we lace our statements with proverbs. There's a saying in my place that when a snake begins to go around the mortar, it's not the mortar it wants to strike, it's the person pounding. It's most probably that Nasir's target is even beyond the NSA. Perhaps he's only using the NSA as a point of reference in addressing the entire government, the entire system. And I still believe that that is unfortunate, that whatever we're going to do, we should not hurt our institutions. We should respect our institutions, because those institutions, the holders of the levers of these institutions are just temporary. Those institutions will go to other people in the future. When they invite you to come and sit on a public office seat, remember that somebody stood up from that seat, and you will also one day stand up from that seat. So that seat is not permanent. That seat belongs to the people of Nigeria. That institution belongs to the people of Nigeria, is for the protection of the people of Nigeria. If you destroy or you create doubt in the minds of people as to the purpose of institutions, you're widening the trust deficit within the public, and you're doing a very great disservice to the country and to the nation.
Sorry, sir. Do you think?
So that's why we are calling on.
Do you think that Malam El-Rufai needs to be advised in this matter? I mean, do you think that a man of his standing actually needs to be advised of these issues? I guess that's the crux of the entire thing. That how can he not know?
If he doesn't want to be advised,
how can he not know all of what you've just said?
He knows. He knows. And he confessed to the fact that he knows. But what I'm saying is that even if he doesn't need our advice, but other people need our advice. First and foremost, other people in power should understand that even if they are out of power, they hold institutional memories of what happened while they were in power. And they should respect that the fact that God gave them chance. Secondly, and I'm saying so, secondly, younger people who are watching, who are listening, who are following, who ought to be mentored on the right path in this country, should realize that some of these things that our political class are doing are not the best.
All right.
And elders
I'm afraid we've run out of time.
And not the things that build a sustainable society. We need to advise ourselves, even if the person we're talking of does not need our advice, but we need these advices to our people. We need to advise the political class. We need to advise people who hold positions to remember that they are out of office, not to disclose certain information
to leave it here now.
That they have been privileged to have holds on them till the end of their lives, because that is what.
All right, we're going to have to leave it here. Thank you very much, Honorable Ahmed Sadio. Thank you very much. Tomorrow,
I'm
people like this.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, the kind of person that we're talking about would aspire to high public office, yet he has given the country this demonstration. It is not our place to judge it. Maybe that's why they are at court, and they will be in the court soon. And all of this will probably be pronounced upon from an institution of competent capacity to do so. So thank you very much. Our guest has been Honorable Ahmed Sadio, former Commissioner for Information in Adamawa State. We're going to have to leave it here, but do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.